Hello everyone, this is SOWMIYA and SUPARNA presenting about the topic marketed and marketable surplus. Let's move on to our topic. Firstly, the producer surplus. The producer surplus is the quantity of produce which is or can be made available by the farmers to the non-farm population. The producer surplus is of two types, marketed surplus and marketable surplus. The covering areas. It covers the area of forming sound price policies, developing proper procurement and purchase strategies, checking the undue price fluctuations, export and import decisions, development of transport and storage systems. Marketable surplus. Marketable surplus is the quantity of the produce which can be made available to the non-farm population of the country. It is the theoretical concept of surplus. The marketable surplus is the residual left with the producer farmer after meeting his requirements for the family consumption, farm needs for seeds and for cattle feed, payment to labor in kind, payment to artisans, and etc. Marketable surplus is given by the formula P minus C, where MS is the marketable surplus, P is the total production, and C is the total requirement. Next is the marketed surplus. Marketed surplus is the quantity of produce which the producer farmer actually sells in the market irrespective of his requirements for the family consumption, farm needs and other payments. The marketed surplus may be more or less equal to the marketable surplus. Now let's talk about the relationship between the marketed surplus and marketable surplus. When marketed surplus is greater than marketable surplus occurs when the farmer retains smaller quantity of the crop than its actual requirements, forced or by distress scale. When the marketed surplus is less than the marketable surplus, it occurs when the farmer retains some of the surplus produce. The marketed surplus is equal to the marketable surplus when the farmer neither retains more nor less than his requirement. Next is the function relationship between the marketed surplus and its factors. M is function of x1, x2, x3, x4 and etc. up to xn, where M is the total marketed surplus, x1 is the size of holding, x2 is the size of family unit, x3 is the total production of the crop and x4 is the price of the crop. Now let's discuss about the factors affecting the marketable surplus. The factors which affect the marketable surplus are size of holding. There is a positive relationship between the size of the holding and the marketable surplus. Next is production. The higher production on a farm, larger will be the marketable surplus and vice versa. Price of the commodity. The price of the commodity and the marketable surplus have a positive as well as negative relationship depending upon whether one considers the short and long run and the micro and macro levels. Size of the family. The larger the number of family members in a family, the smaller is the surplus on the farm. Requirement of seed and feed. The higher the requirement of these uses, the smaller the marketable surplus of the crop. Nature of commodity. The marketable surplus of non-food crops is generally higher than that of the food crops. For example, in case of cotton, jute, rubber, the quantity retained for the family consumption is either negligible or very small part of the total output. For these crops, a very large proportion of the total output is the marketable surplus. Next is the consumption habits. The quantity of the output retained by the farm family depends on the consumption habits. For example, in Punjab, rice forms a relatively small proportion of the total cereals consumed by the farm families compared to those in the southern and eastern states. Therefore, out of a given output of a paddy or rice, Punjab farmers sell a greater proportion than that sold by the rice-eating farmers of other states. The pattern of disposal of marketed surplus. First one is the place of sale. It is a village scale or a market scale. Then next is the time of sale. Thank you.